Hello everyone! Welcome to Eundo's Book Club. Remember, one day, one book. Now let's get started. National Geographic Kids, Level 2, Hellen Keller by Kitson Jazynka. Who was Hellen Keller? Close your eyes and cover your ears with your hands. It's dark and quiet. Can you imagine living in such a world? Hellen Keller lived like that. She was blind and deaf, but she didn't let that stop her from learning as much as she could. She used what she learned to help other blind or deaf people have better lives. Words to know: blind, unable to see; deaf, unable to hear. Hellen Keller is featured on the Alabama State Quarter. In Keller's time, disabled people were often ignored or sent to live away from their families. Keller worked to change how others thought about disabled people. She wrote articles and books. She traveled the world and spoke out. She inspired disabled people with her courage. She helped change unfair treatment for other people too. Words to know: disabled, having a condition that limits a person's ability to do something as others do. Keller often traveled with her assistant, Holly Thompson. In her own words, she said, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing." Growing up, Keller was born on June 27, 1880. She lived with her family in Tuscumbia, Alabama, USA. When she was about a year and a half old, she got sick with a high fever. Soon, she felt better, but she didn't blink when the sun shone in her face. She couldn't hear the dinner bell ring. Doctors said she had lost her sight and hearing forever. This is the home where Keller grew up. For young Keller, the world had become dark, soundless, and confusing. Most children learn to speak by hearing and watching others. Keller could do neither. When she tried to speak, no one could understand. She must have felt lonely and frustrated. She kicked and threw things. Her parents were frustrated too, but they wouldn't give up on their smart, spirited daughter. This is a picture of Keller at age 7. In her time, when Keller was a girl in the 1880s, many things were different from how they are today. Transportation. People often traveled by train, steamboat, or wagons pulled by horses or oxen. Home life. Families heated their homes with wood fires. They pumped water for the house from an outdoor well. U.S. events. When Grover Cleveland became President of the United States in 1885, women did not have the right to vote. Food. Few people shopped in stores for food. Instead, they raised farm animals. They also grew fruits and vegetables to feed their families. School. Children were taught at home or in one-room schoolhouses. Children of wealthy families might attend boarding schools. Learning letters and words. A few years later, Keller's mother read about a school for blind and deaf children. There, students learned how to fingerspell words into a person's hands. She wondered if her little girl could learn too. Words to know. Fingerspell. To communicate letters by making signs with the fingers. This is how to fingerspell the letter L. In Keller's time, a blind and deaf person could touch the sign to read it. Keller and her parents visited Alexander Graham Bell in Washington, D.C. He was well known for teaching deaf children. Bell helped the Kellers find a teacher for their daughter. Alexander Graham Bell is also known for inventing the telephone. That teacher was Annie Sullivan. She arrived when Keller was 6 years old. Sullivan fingerspelled words into her student's hand, but Keller didn't understand. One day, Sullivan fingerspelled W-A-T-E-R. At the same time, she pumped water onto Keller's other hand. Suddenly, Keller understood that the liquid she felt had a name, and that Sullivan was spelling it. She danced for joy. She learned 30 more words before bedtime. Annie Sullivan. Annie Sullivan was 20 years old when she came to live with the Kellers on March 3, 1887. She was partly blind, and she had gone to a school for the blind in Massachusetts, USA. She was smart and stubborn, just like Keller. The pair worked together for 49 years. Because of her success in helping Keller, Sullivan was called a miracle worker. Keller couldn't wait to learn more. Within a year, she knew more than 900 words. She mastered Braille and typing by age 10. Later, she attended high school in New York City. Sullivan went with Keller and fingerspelled for her. Words to know. Braille, a reading system with raised dots that stands for letters and numbers. At the time, few disabled people went to college, but Keller did. She insisted on the same treatment as other students. With Sullivan's help, she read books and wrote papers. Keller graduated from Radcliffe College in 1904. Cool facts about Hellen Keller. 1. With Sullivan's help, Keller learned by doing. She rode horses, went swimming and sledding, and touched tadpoles. 2. In college, Keller learned to read and write French, German, and Latin. 3. Keller had a keen sense of vibrations around her and could identify people and pets by their footsteps. 4. Keller had a special pocket watch with braille features on the outside to tell time with her hands. 5. Keller and Alexander Graham Bell became lifelong friends. 6. Keller never saw her own face in a mirror. 7. Keller wrote 12 books as well as many articles for well-known newspapers and magazines. Finding her voice. By now, many people had heard about Keller. She was the young blind and deaf woman who could read and write. She used her growing fame to help others understand the lives of disabled people. Through writing, she shared her ideas about equal treatment. But writing and fingerspelling were sometimes too slow for Keller. She wanted to use her voice to speak about change. Helen practiced speaking. In 1909, she got help from a singing teacher. A few years later, she was able to give her first speech. She kept practicing. She gave more speeches. She spoke up not only for disabled people, but also for children and the poor. As a suffragette, she spoke up for women too. Words to know. Suffragette, a woman who works for the right of women to vote. Between 1946 and 1957, Keller spoke in 35 countries on 5 continents. In 1924, Keller began working for the American Foundation for the Blind. She raised money that was used to help blind people get education and jobs. In the early 1930s, U.S. lawmakers were writing a new law to help disabled people. Keller pushed for the law to include the blind. She also worked to make Braille the standard system of reading and writing for blind people. When Keller met President Dwight Eisenhower in 1953, she touched his face to see his smile. Remembering Hellen Keller. This is a statue of Keller. It stands in the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Keller spent her life helping others. Her words show the world how much disabled people could learn and do. Her work changed many lives for the better. Keller died at her home on June 1st, 1968. She was almost 88 years old. She's remembered for her hard work trying to make the world a better place for everyone. In her own words, she said, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." The end. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the story. Now, let's learn some new words we've read in our book today. Blind, blind. Deaf, deaf. Braille, braille. Disabled, disabled. Fingerspell, fingerspell. Suffragette, suffragette. Great job, everyone! Thank you for joining Eundo's book club today. If you liked the book we read, please like and subscribe. And I would love to hear from you. So feel free to leave a comment as well. Don't forget, one day, one book. See you tomorrow!